Hey everyone, Anthony here, and you may notice it's a very different setup than usual. Today, I'm going to try hopefully take you through the basics of using Nuke in a more automated batch processing kind of way. So we're going to start with this rig, which we'll build in a second, take you through the basics of the command line, take you through the command line using a Python file, and then take you all the way, hopefully, maybe next video, to parameterizing and giving yourself command line options of that Python file. So yeah, this will be less useful for those of you who are doing tool development within inside Nuke, but it'll be more useful for those of you who are doing back-end stuff and wanting to like spam stuff out to the farm, or just understand a way you can do this. Essentially, how you can set up a template and get Nuke to give you pixels without you having to ever crack open the GUI and type a bunch of stuff. So let's get stuck in and see how it goes. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be all over here in the Nuke side. Now, I've probably said this a couple times, maybe not on camera, but in general with automation and trying to mechanize processes, where I tend to want to start is to understand the process. So there's no point with code, like there's no script editor here. I mean, there's one behind it, but it's not here. If I don't understand what I'm trying to do, or I don't have the process workflow written down, no way in hell have I got a chance of automating it without making some serious mistakes. So we start by doing it by hand. And for our purposes, we're going to start with a fairly straightforward brief of we just want to render out some pixels, and we want those pixels to be controllable. So I'm going to do this. I have my old friend color wheel here, which is nice. I'm going to make it rotate because I want to make sure that each frame is different. I'm going to add a blur and a saturation node. We're going to desaturate it and we're going to blur the heck out of it. The reason I've chosen those two is because they're very easy to see if you've done something. Is it blurry? Yes, you put a blur on. Is it desaturated? Well, if you've got color, then this node isn't working. So they're very straightforward things. They're super obvious. Pretend this section here, actually I'll put some backdrops in. Pretend this is your input. Oops. Input plate. So let's pretend we're doing a denoise exercise or a grain exercise or something. So this is your input. This stuff here, let's consider this to be really too tight. Let's consider this thing here to be your processing. Alright, so this is your treatment. This could be a grade, could be a glow, could be a denoise, could be anything. And then we have a third section at the bottom, which is obviously output. So let's do that. The right node. So we're going to output here. Now let's so should have done this all the way around. I'll quickly finish this off. So here we're also going to, there we go. I just want to set the full size format to something small, so I'm going to do HD 720. We're in Nuke non-commercial, so that will also render nicely enough. And the right node, oh yeah, so we're also going to need to save some files out. So I've just made this structure here. So there's a directory called Nuke demos, and there's renders, and then there's just, I wonder what that autosave is. It's gone now. So we're just going to save this script into that location. So file, save comp as, and then we're just going to call it something simple like render me, and it should appear there. Cool. The files are going to also output to that location, so we're going to just tell it that it's we'd like to render it to the renders directory. We're going to pretend it's a short ABC 1 2 3, and we're going to give it just regular frame padding XR EX my arc here, my keyboard's broken. What else do we have to do? Oh, last thing as well, I'm going to set the frame range to be something small, 1001 to 1010. In case anyone's actually wondering, a lot of us will start not at frame 1, frame 1001 to 1010. If you're getting CG, especially if you've got animation, they'll want to do some pre-roll. So if you start at frame 1, they're going to have to render frames, or they're going to have to simulate on frame 0. If they have more frames than that, -1, -2, -3. Generally a bad idea using negative names in frames, especially if you're writing out geometry caches, or anything pretty much. if you're wondering why. So we'll just lock that range. So here's our setup. Not particularly exciting. So the first thing is we said we wanted to render pixels. So obviously press the render button, gonna render 10 frames out. Cool, gonna bring them in, go to render. It's a blurry, desaturated color wheel. Cool, I can change them by disabling that. Let's just disable the saturation. So it's gonna be a blurry, colorful color wheel. Okay, reload you, and there we go. The saturation's still there, but it's no longer blurry. This is our rig. It's not very exciting, but we're not here to actually make beautiful pixels. We're here to look at the pipeline of this effectively, right? So you notice the loop I've got here. I have to open my script, I have to change something and press the render button, right? So let's now start doing this without having to open this script too much. We're not going to press the render button on the right node. So to do that, we go to the command line here. Now, I've done this, there we go. There's how I execute Nuke. I'll just bring that down a little bit so you can see a bit more of that one. There is a help flag to this, which we'll quickly dump out so you can see. Straight to the top. So options available when launching the main Nuke executable. We want to run Nuke, and we want to run it in non-commercial mode. So you'll see me do --NC. Obviously here's Nuke X, Studio, Nuke Assist, other things, Nuke Indie if you've got it. But we're in non-commercial, so everyone can play along at home. So NC it is. The next thing is we're launching in Nuke mode. So we're not in Hero, we're not in Nuke Studio, so let's go down to Nuke mode. This is the form. It's the Nuke executable, the switches, so in our case --NC for non-commercial, and anything else we need from here, the script name and some argv. I'll explain what argv is later, but we won't use it for now. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to execute, literally press the button and execute the right node for 10 frames. So we're saying --NC for the first switch to say it's non-commercial. Down here, if you eyeball, I happen to know this, but you can read through this yourself. --X, only execute these nodes. So we're going to execute the right one node. So it just says which node you want to execute. And we can supply -F, a frame range. All right, so those are our switches. If you haven't done much command line stuff, anytime you see these --, or dash things, we call them switches. So let's just put that together. It's a lot of words at one go. So we have --NC for the non-commercial flag or switch. we know that it's --X to execute a node, right one. We know --F for frames, and the format of frames, no points for guessing. All right, and then it has to be given the script. Now we save the script on E drive, Nuke demos, render me.nknc. So if I hit the button, it's rendered 2 frames. It's exactly what we asked it to do. We haven't had to, theoretically, if you didn't want to change anything, you don't have to open the script. You don't have to open it in GUI mode. You don't have to press the button. You have control over how many frames you want. So it's, we can render 10 frames out. Cool, we can render 100. I won't render 100. You can also omit this, which we're going to do for simplicity. It should render the Nuke root range, because it needs to know what frames to render. There's a root range, it's going to just go for it if you don't specify. So here we are, it's our basic rig, using again without having to press the render button. If we wanted to change this render, however, so let's reload that. So this is a desaturated, blurred image. So if we wanted to just have a straight pass through, you'd have to disable the processing section, Control S to save the script, and re-render it. Right. And then we get our updated frames here. Straight through, there's nothing changing. So this will now be a black and white, sorry, this will be a blurry, colorful color wheel. Right. Again, this is all pretty boring and not exciting, but just to belabor the point here, all we've done, that is blurry, there you go, once it refreshes. So all we've done is we've started from a very basic rig we've had a brief that we want to control some of this processing element and we want to be able to render it. We started by just disabling and enabling nodes inside the node graph, pressing the render button. We've now gone one step further and we've stopped having to press the render button. We can just simply run that line over and over again. All right? That's handy, but it's not as handy as we'd like it to be. So let's restore this here, save that back. We want to actually do a little bit more. We want to start using Python. So this is where it gets kind of fun. Going back to the help, let's bring that, oops, wrong window. Let's go back up to the help quickly. So I happen to know this. You'll figure it out once you read more of these docs and everything. But we want to run this without the GUI. We just want to run a Python script and we want to automatically do some stuff. This is what you're after. -T. -T stands for terminal only. No GUI, don't pop up a Nuke window, just do the thing. And the thing here is if the thing we provided is a Python file, it'll be executed. So let's actually try that. So going back to this one, we still need to be in Nuke non-commercial mode because we do not have the licenses. We want to be in terminal mode now, and we want to run a script. So let's just call it nuke demos. We had render me. We're going to do execute me.py. All right, and we don't have that file obviously because I didn't make it. So we're going to make it here. So we're going to save this, make a new file, and we're going to start with our version of hello world. Print hello everyone. Cool. Save this. I'm saving it here as execute me.py. Right. If I save that, if I run this, Nuke is now going to just find this file and execute it. Right. So here we've told Nuke, hey Nuke, in non-commercial mode, launch in terminal mode, and hey, take this Python file. And because it's a Python file, it's just going to go, right, list of commands, let's just do the work. Print it 4 times. Printed 4 times. So now we have a little bit more power. So here, let's do the first thing that you would do if you're a compositor. We won't print hello, we'll leave that there. We're going to want to import the Nuke module, so that's basically starting Nuke, and we want to open the script. Script open, and the script is edrive Nuke demos, and it is render me.nknc. Yep. Because I'm on Windows, my backslashes are backwards. So this should open the script up. And just to prove we have opened the script up and we can do whatever the heck we want, for node in nuke.allnodes, print node.fullname. Go, save this, let's execute it. We're expecting it to open the script up, which is the one we have over here. We're expecting it to then just print out however many nodes we've got here. The backdrop's 2, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 nodes. Just under the Nuke non-commercial limit. There you go, just print out all the nodes. If I delete, if I remove that, save the script. Done, it's got fewer nodes, there's only one backdrop there. So we know it's accessing the correct script. And the last thing we want to do, now we've been able to open the script up, we've been able to see there are nodes inside of it, we want to render them out. So previously we had to tell it to execute a node. I've chosen that choice of terms because it will tell us well, in this case, this is the function we're after. It's called Nuke render. So you can tell Nuke to render a node from start to finish in increments, views, continue. We don't care about any of that stuff. So let's just try that. Nuke execute write 1, and we're not going to supply it any frames because, like previously, the Nuke root range will deal with it. So this is what we have here. It should be blurry and it should be black and white. Wait. And I need to save the script file, this dot here. Right. Cool. I should have rendered out 10 frames now. And reload that. It's blurry and it's black and white. Wow, that's horrible caching there. Why is it? I've got something strange in my cache there. But it is blurry and black and white. It's because it's reflecting this. Now, if we were to go back, we can disable that one. If I save this Nuke script, press up, render, we should get straight pass-through of the color wheel. So right now we're demonstrating a little rig here, which allows us to use Python to do the rendering and force it to do some work for us. I'll just say now, as an aside, don't do this. That previous form I showed you where somewhere up here, somewhere way up here, this way, where we told Nuke to execute the right one, is how you would actually want to do this in practice. The reason being that in this section of the script, we're effectively doing script preparation or template configuration work. You probably don't want that to change per frame. You might, who knows, but generally you'd want to have all your logic inside the script and you just turn things on or off or set switches left, right, or something like that. You change the output path, you change the input image, you change those things like that, which you'd want consistent for all your 100 frames or something. So you would actually do this work here once, save out the Nuke script. So instead of script open, you'd have Nuke script save, and then you would run this command style here and just say, for my script that I've baked out all my decisions in, just please render this node and do frames 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. You would kick that to your farm and allow the farm to just do everything in parallel, just so you know. But for our purposes, this is kind of awesome. I actually take this line here as well, so you'll hopefully see this in the video. Get rid of that one. And you can see this is basically equivalent here. So I'll just, how I'll do this. Yeah, just remember, we had to open the script and then we're executing it. So that's the execution step. These two match and this one match. All right. So this obviously, hopefully you're saying to go, I have power, I have control, I can do things, because in our script here, we have our processing nodes enabled, or let's disable them actually. All right. Let's go and actually make this a blurry color wheel. Blurry colorful color wheel. Nuke 2 node blur 1. Disable set value true, so it is disabled. Wait, false. The blur is false, so it is on, and the saturation node here. 1 disable true. So we're forcing it to be blurry, and we're forcing it to be full color. All right. And you'll notice here, these two are disabled in our script. Run through, do stuff, renders out your 10 frames, bring this, reload, and so you can see here, it's blurry and colorful. And obviously we can change this in the script however the heck we want. This here no longer matters, because we're setting almost the plumbing logic here and all the capabilities. If we wanted the saturation to be less aggressive, we'd change it here, but we just turn it on and off in this script. If we wanted the blur to be a different filter, or if we wanted other things to occur, we could set up the logic here and we'd turn them on and off in the script. Now that's actually really powerful, because you can imagine you can do anything you want in this section, right? And you simply tell it to do the work and execute it at the command line. So I don't even need the script open now. So I will just save this. I'll do script clear, because I still want the script editor up here. So I don't have a script open. I don't have Nuke open anywhere, and yet still render out as many frames as I want. That's 10 frames. I wanted to render out frames 1002 to 1005. Save. Cool, I just wanted those 4. Oh no, I need to patch some frames here. You get the idea. I just wanted the 1 frame. Cool. So if you build it correctly, you can control everything you need from your script here. I'll pause this video to allow you to digest, because I'm going to make another one, which is to do with how you're probably going, yeah, but I don't even want to open the Python script. I just want to do my work here. I want to say blur and color. I just want to put words at the command line or my own parameters to control how everything works. So that'll be the next video and how we'll get into it. So yes, I'm going to pause, clean this up, and then we'll go from there.